Hello, I'm Steven.
And I'm Courtney.
And this is Cherry Knoll Whiskey Reviews. Today we're looking at a special bottle from Willett. And that is going to be their 8-year-old Purple Top Weeded Bourbon. I have to thank the guys over at Country Wine and Spirits in Franklin. So if you're in the northern New Jersey area, stop in, say hello. They often have stuff on sale. Like right now, they've got a big sale on Michter's products. So go ahead and stop in there, see what you think. They helped me get this bottle, which I had seen a couple times before, but they were always way overpriced on secondary. I think close to like $400, and I was not about to pay that much over MSRP.
Now, is this what we were trying to find when we found the other one, the other Willett, that was a clear bottle at ShopRite Wine and Spirit?
So Willett makes a couple different bottles.
Levels? Oh.
So, you know that kind of funky looking...
Yes, like genie in a bottle.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Willett. Yes.
So that's Willett. A lot of people don't really care for that specific bottle, but that is their entry bottle into it. So you can't really expect a ton from a lot of entry bottles.
Right.
But then they have a more standard, like, wine shape or straight shape.
Yeah.
Which is clear, and then they put a
different
foil
color
top. Yeah. So it'd be green for their ryes, purple for their weeded, and I don't think I've ever seen anything other than the two. I think their other clear glass bottle with the purple top can be like a 9-year and
I think
older.
That's what we were looking for.
Right. So it's strange that this one being
a weeded,
the lower age statement of the weeded, would have a completely different bottle than
the others.
Their rest of their lineup.
Right.
Kind of a neat looking bottle. Catches your eye because it is completely blacked out.
It almost looks like a wine bottle a little bit.
So it's completely blacked out with gold lettering, and then this fancy purple
foil top
on it. So
we're going to try this one today.
We're going to give it a go. So a lot of people think, especially with the secondary market of what people are trying to sell this bottle at, that it's overhyped.
I'm waiting for it to come out looking like wine because it's in a black bottle.
So someone had yelled at me in the comments for not pouring for you.
Oh.
And I said, well, she typically yells at me for over pouring. Too big of a a
for
pour.
me. Yes, exactly.
But yeah, so there's been a lot of people with kind of mixed reviews of this.
Oh.
It only came out in 2022.
Okay, so it's only 2-ish years old with being out on the market.
So it hasn't been on the market for super long. I think a lot of people end up buying it at the higher secondary price, and then you know, they start thinking about what they paid for and what it tastes, and they're kind of like, I don't think this was worth $350, $400, you know, $600, whatever people are buying it at.
Do we know the proof?
Yeah. It is 108 proof.
Oh, okay.
So it's just about right at that.
Right in my sweet spot.
Right.
Basically. Because I was going to say, it doesn't smell very ethanol based. I shouldn't say based, but it doesn't smell a lot like ethanol.
So one interesting thing is the first batch that they released in 2022 was actually 9 years old. It wasn't 8 years old, even though it is
8 years.
age stated on the bottle at 8.
Right.
So it went into the barrels in spring of, what would that be, 13, and then was bottled in 2022 in the summer. So it'd be
Right.
9 years old.
Right. Smell wise, there's not a lot, at least in my senses, there's not a lot coming through. It seems very crisp and clean.
Yeah, it's got a fruit note.
Yes.
And a little bit of cinnamon.
Okay,
like
yep, I could see that.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch. You know how the Cinnamon Toast Crunch...
Like the milk?
Sugar... No, maybe the milk. But like the cinnamon sugar has... It's not the same as if you were to make your own cinnamon sugar.
Yeah.
Like the cinnamon is toned down a little bit.
Yes, agreed. Yeah, yep.
But then it's also got like a fruity note.
I would say more like a dried fruit note.
Right.
As Ruby's running around back and forth out there. It's like a dried fruit with cinnamon sugar.
Right.
Basically.
A little bit of breadiness. What'd you bring us?
A whole tree branch.
Brought us a tree branch to review. But yeah, I think it smells really good.
I'm hoping it tastes as good as it smells.
Right, I agree.
I'm not...
So its mouthfeel is a higher proof. It's not as smooth as I was expecting it to be off of the nose.
Right, I agree, and I think I was expecting it to be smooth based on how, like, normally the other ones that I say are like a fresh, crisp, like, nice spring type of whiskey to drink. Mm-hmm. They're normally very smooth going down. This, at least first sip, is not what I was expecting.
So it's got a little bit of, like, a spice to it on the tongue.
Like
what feel, like a spicy feel.
Oh.
But yeah, it's a little bit more prickly than I would have expected it to be.
It's not my number one choice as of this moment.
But if you can get past the prickliness, you do get that juicy fruit, cinnamon, a little bit of oak, but the oak isn't overpowering.
I can't get past the like...
Right, you gotta get past
the sharpness of
the
it.
prickliness.
Right. So maybe sip number 3 will be it for me. As far as that goes.
But yeah, that cinnamon is right up front, and then it gives way to like a really juicy, fruity...
I don't like this. No. I don't like this at all.
No? Not a fan of weeded bourbons?
Apparently not.
So the mash bill on this is somewhere around, I think it was 60% corn, 25% wheat, and 15% malted barley.
So why would it be a weeded one if the wheat is not the highest portion?
Typically, your bourbon is going to be...
Always mainly corn?
Yeah, so to be bourbon, it has to be more than 51% corn.
Oh, okay.
But then your more standard is going to be a very high percent corn with a, between, I would say 25 and 5% rye, and then a percentage of malted barley.
Gotcha.
Malted barley is typically very low as well.
Yeah, not my favorite. So sorry. I wanted to like this though. I don't.
Yeah, it's got the prickliness is right in
the beginning.
In the beginning with the cinnamon. So it's got a reminiscent of like a a red hot candy.
Yes.
It being that like spice on your tongue with the cinnamon.
Yes.
Right, but as it starts to fade away, that's when those nice juicy fruit flavors
Nope.
come in.
Nope, not for me.
Right.
It's just very sharp. the
Yeah, I
entire
think
time.
I think if it didn't have the prickliness, which might go away after the bottle's been opened and
I
starts
was gonna
to
say, do you think?
get some air in it, so
Right.
we might have to come back to this bottle at some point and kind of figure out if that goes away or not.
All right. So to see if that spiciness goes away, give us a few months and we'll review it again.
Right, we'll come back to it, and if it changes, we'll make a video. If not, there's not much point in making a video and saying
It's the same.
it's the exact same. But yeah, so I think you would probably have been in the same boat as a lot of other people who, bought this bottle at the high secondary
Right.
and spent a ton of money on it, expecting something
Different.
extremely special,
Right.
and then to have a good nose and then a prickly
Nice.
mouthfeel that you don't enjoy. Yeah, I would have given it a very low score as well if that's kind of what was in my mind.
I would have maybe picked a cheaper weeded bourbon to know what the weeded bourbon taste is like. Maybe not by Willett, but by by somebody else.
My open Weller 107 is
In the house.
not here, but you can try the Weller Special Reserve, which is going to be a much lower proof, but it is essentially a very similar mash bill. I think when Willett was coming up with their recipe, they might have referenced other companies like Buffalo Trace to get
See, that's
a
not
decent idea of a mash bill.
That's not as sharp.
Let's see.
That's a lot calmer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
there's something.
With this being almost 20 proof lower, I think that
Changes things.
kind of really mellows it out. For me, the Special Reserve is too watery. It loses a lot of flavor potential and desirability for me. Like the 107 is a much more enjoyable bottle as far as a weeded bourbon goes.
Gotcha.
But this does have a lot of flavor. You just have to get past that prickly cinnamon to get to it.
Clears out your sinuses too, in case
Right.
you need that.
Well, with that being said, I don't think I will be recommending this bottle, especially just at the price point. It's not worth going out and hunting this bottle to have a whole bottle if you might end up
Which
like
is a
her,
shame.
right? Who doesn't care for the prickliness. I mean, I personally don't mind it, especially
Oh.
since I'm able to get the other flavors. But I think, 9 out of 10 people are going to be more in the boat with you
Right.
than they are going to be with me being able to pick out those other delicious flavors.
Right.
So, with that being said, thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and check out our friends over at County Wines and Liquors in Franklin. See you next time.
Toodaloo.